Good evening, beautiful people. I cannot lie. This is not the video I set out to do for you tonight. I wanted to do the video I told you I was going to do about my late husband, Alan. But I got all the bits and pieces out that I wanted to share with you. Some photos, bits and pieces that people had said at the memorial that I had for him 5 weeks after he died. But looking through the things, I ended up crying my eyes out, which is why I have no makeup on and why I look so stunningly attractive tonight. So, rather than do that, because if I try, I know I'm just going to cry, and it's just going to be silly and a waste of time. So I've decided that I'm going to do another video that I promised you, which is how I got my fur babies. So, for those of you who do not know, I have two fur babies. I have Carter and I have Alfie. Now, let me show you a picture of both of my boys together, first of all, so you can see my little beasts. Where are they? Dooby-dooby-doo. There they are. So, there you can see. Carter is the spaniel-y looking one, and Alfie is the one that looks like Dobby. Look at them ears, they're ridiculously big. Anywho, so that's the boys. Now, initially, I actually only wanted one fur baby. It was never my intention to have two, but things happen, and this is what happened with me and Carter and Alfie. In March of, must have been 2017, early March 2017, I met Bibi for a coffee while he was at work. One afternoon, I'd been in Kalamata seeing Dimitra, and Bibi wanted to see me, but he was at work, so I just went and met him, and we had a coffee on the beach. When we came back to the car, sitting by my car was this sad, pathetic little thing who was basically furless from, sorry, I couldn't see whether or not I was still running, beg pardon. He was basically furless from his ribs down, was clearly very, very sick. He had skin issues, he had some issues with his eyes. He was so undernourished, it was sad. But such a loving little creature. He wanted love and affection. He wanted to be petted. You know, a lot of people would be like, ew. But just looking in his eyes, I could see he was a nice little dog. And so I was petting him, and I was thinking, oh God, can I get him in the car and get him to the shelter people that Bibi knew? And the long and the short of it was, he was still quite scared because he'd obviously had some bad things happening while he was on the road, so to speak. And he took off, and we couldn't catch him. So Bibi called the rescue people and alerted them to the fact that this little dog was roaming about and to look out for him. And about a week later, they did in fact catch him on the cart track, and they named him Cart. So they took him off, the people at the shelter took him off to the vet to be treated. I will hopefully do something on the shelter people as well, because these are special people, really. These are good people. They treated him. He was sterilised. They weren't sure he would make it, but he's a fighter, he's strong, he's like me. And after they got him better, they posted a picture up on their site on Facebook, and this is the photograph that Bibi sent me of Carter. This was his little photo that they put out, and look at him, look at that little face. He was so cute. I had to have him. So Bibi helped me fill in all the forms because they were in Greek, and I couldn't quite manage that on my own. So he helped me fill out the forms, and they okayed me. I was approved to adopt, but I had to have a meeting with the foster mother of Carter and so she could see not just me, but me with the dog. So she brought him along, and I met her with BB, and she brought Carter along, and oh my God, it was love at first. It really was love at first sight. So let me show you. This is the first picture that I took of Carter. And one of the reasons I love Carter is because my little beast sploots, which is what he's doing there with his back legs out behind him. And it's just the damn cutest thing ever. But obviously he has a waist there. He has no waist now because he is quite a fat little chubby git. So Vasilia, the lady that was minding him, gave him to me there and then. We spent our first night together at BB's, which was quite an anxious night because he was anxious because he'd been moved again, and I was anxious because I wasn't at my place. I was, what if he does something dreadful? He didn't, but he could have done. And the next day, I bundled my little beast up into my car and I drove him home. We spent the first week sleeping on the sofa here because I didn't know if he was house trained, if he was a chewer, if he was going to be crying, how he was going to behave. So I slept on the sofa. I had another part of the sofa dragged over by my head. He slept there. As long as he was close to me, he didn't care. And he's still the same. If he's close to me, he doesn't care. And I spent the first week I had with him thinking he was the most stupid, disobedient dog in the universe because he wouldn't sit, he wouldn't lay, he would do nothing. Nothing. And I keep doing this because I should be wearing my glasses, but I'm getting a reflection. So if you get a reflection, I'm sorry, but I have to see that I'm running because sometimes things chop out and I'm and it's not recording. So yes, the first week thinking he was stupid, and then the penny dropped in my dense little brain. Greek people had brought this dog up. Consequently, he didn't speak English. So when I was saying, sit, 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 he wouldn't sit because he didn't know what it meant. So the moment I said, Katze, down went his little bum. And we then spent a couple of weeks learning how to communicate with each other. We learned a language together. So he now speaks Greek and English. Because BB speaks to him in Greek. Now, I had a month with him before I started work, which was fabulous because it meant I had a month of being just with him. Anywhere I went, he went with me. If I couldn't take him with me, I didn't go. If I went to see BB, he came with me. Because I knew that once I started work, my hours I did approximately like 70 hours a week. And I'm not looking for sympathy. It's just the way things are here. I only work in summer. So consequently, it's long hours and a short period of working. So I knew I'd have to leave him, and I knew I'd have to leave him twice a day because I was doing 2 shifts a day at the time. And I was concerned that he would feel abandoned because he did have abandonment issues. He's still quite frightened of a lot of things. He's terrified of thunderstorms. And that first week we had a doozy, a real doozy, and he crept up on the bed next to me, and he's not a lap dog. He likes to be near me, as I say, but he's not a lap dog. Neither of them are. And he crept up beside me and he curled into my arms and just trembled. He wanted Mummy to save him. And he does that every time there's a storm, even now. He was terrified of the hoover. He was terrified of the broom, anything. You know, if I got anything out, cleaning products, he would run. Alfie has taught him that the hoover is nothing to be scared of. So Alfie has taught Carter also to bark like a motherfucker. So that's not a good thing, but, you know, they've taught each other things. So yes, we had a month together alone, and then I went to work. But he was a star. He didn't bark. He didn't chew things. He's not a naughty dog. He's such a good little creature. He loves people. He likes kids. He likes other dogs. He does not like bitches. The only bitch he likes is Mummy. My strange little beast. But yeah, he's a good little creature, and he changed my life. I've mentioned before, I'm not looking for another husband. I've had 2 husbands. I'm not saying I'd never get married again, but I'm not looking to get married again. I'm not one of these women who's desperate. Oh, I must get married again. I must get married again. I'm not like that. I'm fairly independent and self-sufficient, but it is nice to have somebody who's pleased to see you when you put your key in the door at night. And this little boy is always so pleased to see me. Now, let me show you a few pictures of Carter over the time that I've had him. So where are we? Albums. Where's Carter? There's Carter. Here is my little beast after his first bath. Looking all cute and clean and fluffy and terribly sweet. Look at that little face. And he had a waist there as well, bless him. But he was such a good little boy. He was clean. He was funny. He was great company. Look at that little boy. He's just a very pretty little dog. And the dock tail thing, as I say, was nothing to do with me. But he doesn't wag his tail like this thing does, clearly. We're not going to fight. Sit down. He doesn't wag his tail. He twerks. He channels Miley Cyrus. His little bum bobs up and down. And when I catch it on camera, you will see it. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But yes, that's Carter. And after I'd had him about 6 months, and I loved having him, I really did. It was complete love, complete love. I'm besotted with the little bugger. And I'd had him 6 months. I'd just finished work for the season. So I was having my little bit of downtime before I start doing house jobs. I hate fucking house jobs, but hey. No squabbling. So of course they're going to squabble. Come here, Alfie. I went to the next village to pick up some tobacco. And as I got into Evangelismo, which is the next village, I nearly ran over this little tiny thing that sort of sat from here to here in my hand. A little white puppy that was just running around in the middle of the road. So I stopped, of course. I managed not to run the little bugger over, fortunately. I looked around to see if I could find, maybe he's escaped from somebody's garden. No, couldn't find anybody who would claim him. So I took him home, much to Carter's disgust, because he couldn't work out what this noisy, waggy little thing was that I had sort of stuck on my lap on the drive home. Like, what the hell is that? No squabbling. Give me that ball. I should take their toys away from them when I'm doing this, because seriously, they fight over all their toys. Thank you. Sit down. So yes, I planned to find Alfie, because he wasn't called Alfie at that point, he was just called Puppy. I planned to find Puppy a new home, and I spoke to the shelter people I knew, I spoke to people I knew here. I could not find a home for this little bugger for love nor money. Aye. Let me. Dimitri, I'm going to have to call you back, darling. I'm in the middle of something. Yeah. Sorry, rude. Very rude. That was my best friend, Dimitri. She does it every time. I did an Instagram look yesterday with some huge fluttery feather eyelashes, and now bastards to put on. In the middle of it, she called. glue on my eye, I'm half blind, got feathery lashes out here, and she called me. It's her timing, it's impeccable. So Alfie, the little beast who lived in my bathroom for about 3 weeks, because I had to get up every 2 hours and feed him, because he was probably about 3 or 4 weeks old when I found him, so he was not old enough to have left his mother. And I did fall in love with him, and more to the point, so did Carter. Now I will show you a little picture of Alfie when I first found him, so you can see just how small he was, and he really was tiny. Where are you, little beast? It will be one of the first pictures. Ella, look at this little monster. Do you see how small he was? Look how sweet he was. But you can see why I call him Dobby. Look at those ears. I mean, he will grow into them, I hope, eventually, but they're huge. And he is, to him, he's never known any different. I'm just mummy. He loves mummy. Oh, here he was. This was the very first day I got him. I mean, you can even see fleas on him. He was filthy, absolutely filthy. He wasn't allowed to play with Carter at that point. But look, the hair hadn't grown round his eyes. It hadn't grown round his nose properly. His teeth were very small. So yeah, up every 2 hours feeding him Weetabix and milk. But get down from there, please, for about the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then he went on to puppy biscuits, fortunately, which was a lifesaver. He is a destructive force in the house. He is a chewy little git. I can't leave him alone in the house. Can I? Can I? No. I can't leave him alone in the house because he chews to punish me. His favourite things to eat are my cigarette filters, my cigarette papers. And when I went out today to get tobacco, he ate said feathery eyelashes that stupidly I'd left on the coffee table. Now, another thing I believe he's eaten, I'm not sure, but I am almost 100% convinced that he has. I had a nipple bar, because I have a piercing, on the coffee table, and it's gone. I can't find it for love nor money. And I'm fairly certain he's eaten it because he is a weirdo. He only ever chews my things. He doesn't chew like shoes and things, oh, touch wood, things like that. But yeah, he's got a real thing about my tobacco products, like my papers, my filters especially, and his baby. He destroyed his baby. I gave him a baby, a black fluffy dog, and he bit its eyes out first of all, which made it look really creepy, so it was quite disturbing anyway. And then he proceeded to rip the stuffing out of it and eat it, which I didn't discover until I'm a responsible pet owner. I collect their poop. You know, I don't just dump it on the floor and walk away. I take bags with me, not with my hand, clearly. I take bags with me, but yeah. When I went to collect his poop this one particular day, it was full of stuffing from his baby. So he is a little git, but he's my little git. So this is how I got my 2 rescue babies. Let me show you the one that is, as ever, Mummy's watchdog. Hello, baby boy. Carter. Carter, moo, 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 moo. Which is how I call them when they're off the lead. I don't call him Carter Moo, I call him Alfie Moo. But I sing it because I can't whistle. Alfie, hello. Alfie, hello, baby. Here it comes. Hello, leave the ball. Hello. Say hello, Alfie. Alfie. Look, they want the ball. They want the ball. Go on, go play with the ball. I will let them play with their balls. Talking of balls, Alfie's are going. Oh, yes. I'll let them squabble over their ball. I'll say goodnight. Callie Nectar. Sorry it's not the video I promised. If you like it, I will do it when I can get there. Okay, guys? Love you.